Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello and welcome. Welcome to your intuitive week, your energy update for the week of August 24th. We are in the final week of August, and wow, what a time the last month, the last few weeks have been. I don't know about you, but the message from last week about lightening up, like really trying our best to lighten up, like bring a lightness, bring our inner child in, play around, like not get so serious, leave the puzzle pieces to the side. It was very true for me. And I was curious as I was sharing it last week and I was digesting the insight for myself that if the prescription was to lighten up, then did that mean that it would feel the opposite? And that's why we needed to be reminded to lighten up. And for me, that was true. I was needing that reminder quite often last week. And, part of the message for August is about remembering our strengths to receive the gifts. And the gift maybe is that remembrance. Because what helps us remember our strength is usually a challenge. And last week, I celebrated my birthday, and it was really lovely, and I received a lot of love, and I had a really great time with people that I love. And I do feel, though, that around the birthday and on it too, it was challenging for me to stay in the moment and really enjoy it easily. Like I had to keep reminding myself about that lightness because there was just a lot of reflection. And through that reflection, a lot of emotion and, so much swirling in and out. But what I really felt was that this start of my 44th year, that it is kind of an initiation time for me. And that I'm moving on to a new phase and a new cycle. And I really feel that. I feel that within me in everything that I am working on and bringing to life, hopefully. And there's just so much happening in my creative world and in my healing work. And I did find last week my birthday being kind of the marker for that there is this initiation of remembering strengths of mine, remembering abilities and where I want to kind of focus them moving forward. And part of this kind of next phase in the cycle is this ebb before the flow, this depth of initiation in that void space before the expansion, the stretching to hold what's next because I have big plans and I've been working towards them. And thankfully, I've been in this energy before. So I have so many tools and support to manage it and to move through it and still be able to enjoy my birthday, even though I was moving through this energy too, because that's just how it was. That's what I was moving through and still am. And it's very much this eclipse energy, right? This kind of astrological weather kind of mirrors it, and I'm resonating with it. And the space before the next is how a lot of us are moving through. And if you are in this space too, with many people I'm connecting with are, look back at a time before you started something, before a big change, before something new in your life came together, and really look back at what you experienced before it happened. Knowing, getting to know, understanding your own cycles is such a gift because you're not always exactly the same, of course, but there are those patterns that can help you get back into trusting your timing and trusting your path and trusting your next step, trusting yourself. So, really remembering how you felt and how that connects to how you're feeling now, that can be so helpful. And I'm sharing this because one of the best things about learning how to listen to our intuition, developing it, recognizing the energy that you hold personally and the energy you're moving through personally and how it relates to what the collective is moving through, this kind of understanding can really help us to be more patient and compassionate and less judgmental of ourselves, more kind and gentle with ourselves. And then it's easier to be that way with others too. So if you are kind of moving through this energy, this very much stretching to hold what's next, if you also feel like you're in a bit of an initiation for what's to come, know that you have so many tools. You have your intuition, you have your knowing, you have your grounding, and look for the support outside of you as well, because you don't have to hold it all on your own. And even though the energy is different for this week, the message is different that came through in the meditation, I do feel like the insight of lightening up, of making sure that we don't get too bogged down in how serious things can feel, because they are serious, but we don't have to be held in the depths of that every moment. It's so important to lighten up when we are feeling very heavy. And I was just really thankful for that insight that came through last week because it really helped me move through a lot of energy. And I hope it was helpful for you too. And so, this last week of August, we're moving through this kind of in between space that I spoke about already, that many of us are moving through and feeling. And in this in between space, it really does help to highlight our unique talents and strengths and abilities, helping us continue to remember the ones that we cannot ignore. Like we can't ignore them anymore because they are so alive and wanting to fuel our reemergence, our maybe revival, kind of a renaissance. Maybe that's what September is already calling. And we'll see what the full energy impressions for September are next week. But this word, reemergence, that did kind of just come through now. And maybe the shift in energy will be felt at the end of this week. And this could really be possibly supported by the energy of the full moon lunar eclipse, which is astrologically in Pisces on Saturday. And this energy, the support could really help to show us this shift into revival, reemergence. Yeah, there's something about reemerging. The definition, let me look at, hold on. Okay, the definition of reemergence, which might seem obvious, but I felt called to share it, even though we are talking about kind of the end of the week and into the next month. But let's go with it. So maybe it will inspire something within you. So, reemergence, the definition, Oxford Dictionary, is the act of appearing again or returning after a long time away, hiding or stopping. It means something or someone comes back into view, notice, or into power. And then I wanted to look up Renaissance as well, because that was kind of another word that came in. And in French, Renaissance actually means rebirth. And often September can feel like a new year, right? Kind of a turning point. So, also the definition, just to offer a bit of inspiration, as we look forward into the next month, but we'll check in to September next week. But a little preview. Yeah, the definition of Renaissance is a new growth of activity or interest in something, but especially art, literature, or music. Creativity, right? So, again, we'll see what the energy of September is sharing with us next week, but it does feel like the wheels are beginning to turn, and this week could really shed the light on what is ready to maybe turn back on in September. So maybe this week is part of that preparation. And that may be why I felt kind of connected to share a bit about September as I was tuning in. And before we get fully into the energy for the week ahead, I did want to share that I have one space opening up to begin in September, and two spaces will open up to begin in October for the key, which is your one-on-one 4-month intuitive journey of healing, transformation, and discovery. And whether you want to begin in September or October, these spaces will support your transformation through the end of this year and into the next. Identity expansion, big shifts that bring you back to yourself, to remember the foundation of trust that you carry. The key journey, it always unfolds uniquely for each person, but I am constantly in awe of the discovery and the insight and the healing that I'm so grateful to help facilitate. And it's through my blend of intuitive energy work and so much more, and receiving support through the end of this year to the beginning of 2027, it feels like a very powerful portal to really help you come back to your knowing and yourself, come back to your trust and your energy and your deep embodiment. So if you have been feeling the pull, if you have been curious about what one-on-one support in this way could offer you, if you're wondering what it would be like to have weekly intuitive guidance and support and energy healing for 4 months, this could be the key to help you discover what has always been within you. But you're discovering how to remember. You're remembering where to look, where to find it, how to open it, and receiving support through the end of this year to the beginning of 2027. So if it feels like one of these spots could be for you, go to the show notes and you'll find the way to connect with me there. And also, I support people from around the world. So don't worry about your time zone. Just connect to whether one of these spaces could be for you. If you're feeling a pull, then go to the link in the show notes, and I'm excited to connect with you. Okay, so let's get into your energy update. These energy updates are always here to help you develop the language of your intuition. They're interactive in the meaning of the way that I receive these is meant to help you connect to and develop your own discernment. So, the way I receive any of these energy updates is I go into a nice deep meditation to connect with the field of energy that we are all connected to. At least that's how I interpret it. And I bring with me into the meditation the intention to receive insight, guidance, symbolism, messages, anything that I can translate through my intuition with as much clarity as possible for us. Not just for you, but also for me, but not for everyone. The intention really is for the listeners and myself to connect to any challenges or opportunities, to be reminded of where to focus our intentions and attention for your highest good. And the most important part of these is for you to trust what resonates and leave what doesn't. Trust your interpretation over mine. Use these energy updates as a way to develop your intuition. So I will share what came through in the meditation, and then I will share the insight and symbolism of the animal that came through. And then I will share some writing prompts, soul questions, and help you dive even deeper into the energy. So let's finally dive into the energy update for your week of August 24th. So when I first opened up the meditation, I felt a very deep pressure in the forehead. And this was connected to the figure in the meditation that represents you and I. And we massaged our forehead with the bottom of our palm, kind of offering a bit of relief, and also our eyebrows. And the message received was our inner vision is expanding. And this is where we hold the energy of our sixth energy center, the third eye chakra. And this is where our intuitive and psychic vision can be accessed. And it's where it can also be hindered. So this week, you may want to carve out some time to meditate, to focus on opening up your inner vision. And it felt like through this inner vision, through this energy, that your future self might have a message for you. There could be some beautiful inner vision waiting for you. And the tension or pressure in this area, it could be a signal asking for your attention. And just the simple act of paying attention, of offering your forehead and eyebrows and in between a nice massage, that could be part of your reconnection. But if you feel called or if this is resonating, you can also listen to my Meet Your Future Self meditation journey. And I'll link it in the show notes. But that may be something that's very helpful for you this week. And this also feels like a reminder that you have the information you need within you. You have access to it. And allowing the space and working with your energy in new ways, it could be a very important step for you this week as we move into the new month. And then the next thing that came through was another feeling. So a lot of embodied feeling happening this week, paying attention to our body. And what came through was a spotlight on the stomach, solar plexus area, but definitely more of the stomach. But that is where the solar plexus energy is connected to. And the feeling was a twisting, but then a relaxing. So it went from a twisting to a relaxing. And the message felt like maybe a bit similar. Also, this came through last week about how our body is speaking to us. And that the two feelings, the twisting and the relaxing, did feel connected to a yes and a no. The relaxing being the yes, and the twisting feeling like a no. So it also could be an invitation for this week about how your body could be speaking more clearly. It could be speaking louder. And if this is resonating, start small. When you go to make a decision, something without too much pressure, like you're stopping at the store, at the grocery store, picking up something, before you put it in your basket, ask your intuition to help you feel whether this is what you want or not, whether it's a yes or a no. So you're moving out of the head and into the body. And then you'll start to understand how your body is speaking. And through the week, any decision you have to make, notice how your body is feeling. And the insight came specifically about the stomach. So if this is resonating, notice in the stomach what a yes feels like and notice what a no feels like. It feels so much feeling this week. There is a feeling of an opportunity for a more embodied connection to your intuition this week. New ways of communicating, opening up. Maybe new ways that are not new. Maybe you are remembering how. This is one of the things I love most about energy healing and energy work and the intuitive arts is you really get to know what is your energy and what isn't. And it's not something you can read about or spell out or think about. It's something that you feel and something that you experience. Experiencing how your energy speaks to you. And then you realize, oh, how unique it is. And once you know it, you really know it. And it feels like this week we have the opportunity to really get more connected to understanding what that yes and no is. And maybe we really need this moving into the last 4 months of the year. And then the next thing that came through was a visual. It was a visual of us with puzzle pieces in our hands. And this was interesting because I had not thought about the puzzle pieces that were around our path last week until the meditation. But now that those puzzle pieces came through in a different way in our hands, smaller, more manageable, feeling the space of them, the lightness, the fun that we had last week. And maybe some of us had a really hard time doing that and we had to work at it, but we did bring the lightness when we were feeling heavy. But all of that space that we made, that has helped us bring perhaps a more realistic view of what to do next. Helped us not see the puzzle pieces so large and overbearing and overwhelming. And the imagery from the meditation for this week is we had these puzzle pieces in our hands now, palms up, open, and it felt like the message is the solution is in your hands now. You allowed the space for them last week. It wasn't time. But this week, you remember that you actually have all the pieces, that they're in your hands, and that there is no rush, that it's one step at a time, that you will know what to do. You're not gripping them or grasping them, holding them tight. You're just holding them. And if you get frustrated or overwhelmed this week, ask yourself, what do I already know? What do I already have? And how can this help me today? And then the next thing that came through was a strong feeling, another feeling. So, really connect to your body this week. And now that I'm saying that, we did move into Virgo season this week. So, Virgo is connected to our nervous system, to our feeling. So, this makes sense that we're kind of being brought back into our body. Very earthy, grounded. That's the opportunity. So be supported by that energy. And the feeling that I got, the next thing that came through was a feeling of balance. But the balance was between our feet and the top of our head. I felt a pull at the top of our head, and I felt a pull from the bottom of our feet. And it felt like the message was the more grounded we are, the more connected we are. The balance and expansion of knowing comes through that grounded embodiment. It helps us reach. And what practice really helps you feel more grounded? But also pay attention to what makes you feel more hunched over and what makes you stand up tall. Pay attention to that this week. If you're feeling very grounded or feeling like you need to be grounded, notice how your energy at the top of the head is feeling too. Allow that energy to be lifted. Allow the grounded energy at your feet to also allow more balance and openness and grounding from the top of the head too. Getting more grounded allows your crown to open up more and feel more expanded. And then you don't just float away. And at the end of the week, we do have, like I mentioned, a full moon, which is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. And Pisces rules the unseen, our dreams, our intuition, the words beneath our words. And this energy could be inviting us because it's a full moon, but it's also the lunar eclipse. It could be inviting us to shed even more of what is not us, what is not for us, and what is not us any longer, what is not a part of our present or our future. Really shedding maybe what has been in the way of our intuition, of our senses, of our connection. Maybe it's the energy of our fear or judgment or outdated beliefs or perfectionism or procrastination or doubt. All of the things that are in the way of how we interpret ourselves and our inner worlds, which can really help us navigate the outer world. That we can release our grip on anything this week and open up, see what unfolds. Think of the puzzle pieces. In the meditation, we're holding them. They're small, they're in our palms, but our palms are open. We have trust. We trust that we are holding the solution, that we can figure it out, but there's no urgency. So trust yourself to stay open to what you know, stay open to what you don't know, and stay open to receive. And then the animal came through, and this is our intuitive animal that comes through in the meditation to offer more insight and guidance through the symbolism and the themes. And it actually landed on our hands, on the puzzle pieces, beautiful imagery. And it was the bee, a beautiful bee. Some sweetness for us this week, expansion, abundance, creativity, community, reconnection, knowing where you're guided. I mean, the themes and the symbolisms are really lovely. And as I share them, pay attention to which ones resonate, how they connect to you in your life, where it brings you in your life. Like, really trust how the bee can inspire your focus and your attention and your intention this week. The bee represents the energy of creative flow, focus, soul love, service, integrity, abundance through action, expansion, trusting the process, power of community, sweetness from challenge, and ancestral healing. So through your creativity, your focus, your service, your action, trusting the process, through the power of community, through what you do now can help heal the lineage. And in my intuitive animal oracle, the bee is number 18, called the bee of sweet expansion. And 18 equals a 9, 1 plus 8. And 9 is the number of completion, of wisdom, of finding and following the wisdom of the light within and sharing it. And that really feels so connected to this week as we move into the 9th month. And I am still finalizing the guidance for all of my intuitive animals, but I did want to share an excerpt from the bee. So from the bee of sweet expansion, look up and around you. You're expanding into a renewal of self-confidence. This is much needed and right on time. Opportunities and invitations are coming to restore clarity. Clarity around what you have been releasing and why. This release helps to create the renewed confidence and trust in your abilities. In your ability to hold forgotten parts of yourself with a refreshed understanding. So you can see where you are more fully committed and what you are more open to now than ever before. Allow your heart and intuition to guide your hands in knowing what to give and to receive. Open up to the sweetness of your life. And that felt like a really lovely, connected message from everything else that came through. And then there was a small part of Ted Andrews' Animal Speak that I felt could be helpful for us too. So, from Ted Andrews' Animal Speak about the bee, the bee is the reminder to extract the honey of life and to make our lives fertile while the sun shines. The bee reminds us that no matter how great the dream, there is the promise of fulfillment if we pursue it. The elixir of life is as sweet as honey, and the bee is a symbol that promises us that the opportunity to drink of it is ours if we but pursue our dreams. So, really trust how any of the themes or messages around the bee connected for you and resonated about something in your life. Trust it. And now, some soul questions, some journal prompts to help you dive even deeper into the energy. You can answer these in a journal or as a voice note to yourself. Answer one or none. They are for you to explore. So, number one, what has felt closed off to you in the past, but may be worth revisiting? Number two, describe what a yes feels like and describe what a no feels like. Is it that tightness or that relaxing feeling in the stomach, or is it something else? But get to know it, describe it. And number three, what do you already know and what do you already have? Trust what comes. And number four, how can you open up to the sweetness in your life? And that brings us to the end of this episode of Intuitive Seek for your week of August 24th. And I would love to hear if you resonated with any of the energy that I shared that we're moving through for this week. And if you have any other thoughts or questions, please do not hesitate to send me a message. I love hearing from you. Go to the show notes. Everything you need is there. And hugely appreciated if you subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to offer a bit more support, you could leave a review. It is so helpful. And also, if you feel like it, share this episode with a friend that could use it. And I really appreciate it. So thank you again. Be extra kind to yourself and others. And I will talk to you next week.
Hi, Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very meaningful. Cat.